This video is going to walk through a solution to the problem number 4 from 2018's district called Carla. In this problem, we are given this table of values for different octal values, the corresponding read, write, and execute settings in a Unix file system. So we'll be reading in a string of 4 characters, where the first character will be the type, whether it be a file, a directory, or a link. And then the next character will correspond with one of these octal values and the read, write, or execute permissions for the root, I believe, and then the user, and then everyone. Or no, I'm sorry. It's the let's see here, for example, permissions, the user's rights, and also the group's rights, and then everyone else's rights. So we have user, group, everyone else. If you're not using Unix or Linux, then this isn't all that important to you. But if you ever decide to get into using Linux or a BSD, then it's useful to know what these different values represent. But for our purposes right now, it's just a matter of basically translating F664 into -RW-RW-R-. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing I notice is we've got 0 to 7, and we're going to have these corresponding RWX values. Notice it's not actually, --1 or anything like that. It's --R or RW-, things like that. So I see this as we have 8 different values in a nice numbered format, 0 through 8. So we're going to use a array of strings. Basically, each value in the array, so 0 is going to have 3 dashes, 1 is going to have --x, 2 will have -w-, and so on. So that's how I'm going to start this problem. I'm going to make that array of strings. So make a string array. Again, notice that I've got my imports, I've got my main method, I've got my scanner. I'm going to make a string array called RWX. And when you make an array in Java and you're going to assign values right up front, you use curly braces. So the first value is --. The next value is --x. The next value is -w-. The next value is -wx. The next value is r-. Then we have r-x, then rw-, and finally rwx. I might have left one on the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's got them all. Cool. Okay, so we have this array of strings. The next thing we're going to want is, I suppose, to read in this line F664. So we'll go ahead and make a string. I'll call it code, and it's going to be in.next. Now, I need to do this every time we get to a new string, so I need a while loop. So while in.hasNext. All right, so while in.hasNext, close my curly brace there. Okay, so while in.hasNext, we're going to read in the next thing, and we want to break that apart. So, still have this up in the last problem. So if we look at what we're going to read in, this very first character is going to be F, D, or L, right? D, F, or L, depending on that. So let's go ahead and handle that first. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a character, call it first, and it's going to be code.char at index 0. So if, actually I'm going to use a switch case. There's a good chance to use a switch case. So the way we do a switch case, we say switch on the variable we're going to check. So switch first, open curly brace, case and then the case of what's going to happen. So if that's an F, then I want to put a dash in my output. Now I need someplace to store my output. So before this while loop, I need to make a string. I'm going to call it output, make it the empty string. Okay, so if it's F, I'm going to say output plus equals, so concatenate on the end, a dash. And then with switch case, we have to say break, if that's the only thing we want to happen. Okay, in the case that that is a D, that was when first is a D, I'm going to say output plus equals a D, and then break. And finally, in the case that it's an L, then we want output to put an L, and then break. Oh, and I just it auto formatted for me. That works, I suppose. So we have our case, output, break. Okay, cool. All right. So now to handle the rest. So if I look at the rest, we've got 3 integers, 6, 6, and 4, 7, 7, 5. So we don't know what they're going to be, but they're going to be, we want to tear them apart and look at them separately. So we have a nice, we have integer dot parse int, but notice that it's expecting a string. So I've got to give this a string in order to turn into a number. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say int n equals integer.parseInt, and I want to get the substring from code. So I'm going to say code.substring, and for the first one I'm going to have it start at 1 and stop at 2. That gives me the character index 1. Okay. Now really though, I'm going to be doing this multiple times. So I'm going to use a for loop for this. I'm going to say for int I equals 1, as long as I is less than 4, or I'm going to say less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. Right? And so then, instead of saying 1 and 2 here, I can say I to I plus 1. So that's going to give me, if I go back here, it's going to give me the thing from index 1, starting index 1, which is a 6, and it's going to stop before index 2, so it's just going to give me 6. And then it's going to go to the next one, which is at index 2, and it's going to stop before index 3, so it's going to give me the 6. And it's going to go to index 3 and stop before index 4. So that should give me the 3 integer values. Okay, but then I don't really want those values. I want the value in this RWX array at that index. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I would want this. So I'm going to say output plus equals RWX at index n. Okay. Once it finishes that, I'm going to put this down here so I can see a little bit more of my code. Once it finishes that, then I think I'm done. So I'm going to say out.println output, save, run my code. Close. The first one looks good, and then it goes kind of wacky, right? So my problem here is I wanted to reset this output string every time through the while loop. So I get a nice clean empty string every time. Let's go ahead and run that now. And that looks okay. Let's check it against Carla's output, carla.out. Again, looking for the little things. Everything though looks correct. So that's got it. All right. So I'll put my code back up here. And again, this code will be up on GitHub, so you can grab it off there to review as well. All right, thank you.